Okay, officially, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome everyone to the Options Income Launchpad weekly market wrap. I am Scott. I'll be your host. As always, what we do is for education, illustrative purposes only, nothing intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell. This is for education, illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do constitutes personalized investment advice because we're not brokers and we're not advisors. So any decision made based on information in this platform is at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. We'll look at today's market. We'll revisit our posture. Trades that may be carried over the weekend. What are we looking for next week? We're going to start with the opportunity list, and we're wrapping up section 3 in our trading plans. So make sure you're watching for that. Okay, let's dive in. Let's do the watch list first. That way, if we do find something where we think, man, that's just such a strong trade, we need to just take it. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Took some losses yesterday. Yeah, sometimes the bear eats you. Unfortunately so. Unfortunately so. All right, let me get my watch list up. Start at the top, work our way down. Alcoa pretty flat. Apple is kind of interesting, actually. You could make an argument. The problem is your stop is 10 points. So we need it up here to 284 just to get 2-1. Right? And that's almost the whole move at 284. So if that's the whole move, unless it gets to an all-time new highest high, I don't think that's what we're looking for. It doesn't have the punch that we would like it to have. AMAT, with the help of earnings, actually made the move we were looking for and then some, but at this point is on borrowed time as far as its current swing. We need to be patient, wait for this to pull back. There's really nothing there yet. AMKR is interesting. It's pinched today on its stochastics. If it had finished like this, there's a good chance that would have actually turned a little higher, and there'd be a question here. Like, is this something we're interested in? 48.70, let's call it 49. $45, 4 points. So it's about a 2-1 here to this. Only a 3-1 if you get a new one. Maybe. AMZN. Now Amazon was one that was starting to show up as like hey, this could be bearish. But what are we waiting for? We're waiting to make sure that now if it breaks up into this, then no way am I going to think bearishly. I'll think, oh, the buyers came back. If it stalls and then rolls over, well then now we may have something on our hands. Something like that would be like, maybe we have the ability to trade it here, and that's so if you are of the mindset where you're thinking about puts or some kind of bearish strategies, yeah, make sure you're getting full confirmation. Yeah, make sure you're getting full confirmation. There's no anticipation. We don't anticipate this thing's going to roll over because you can see very easily, boom, it popped a little bit higher still. And that's a lot of times what we're going to see happening within the realm of stocks that are starting to have a little bit of bearishness about them. APH, overextended, ASX. ASX is a little bit interesting here. Not quite. I would say if you thought this was a flag, you're right at the edge of it. And one thing that it's clearly missing is volume. AXP. Well, so it's holding at the 200, but it's really been on quite a downward consolidation trip for a little while. So on this one, I'm going to be waiting, watching, seeing if there's something more concise that develops. Baba, no. And it's got earnings coming up soon. Bank of America, still in the bottom four. Stephen D I was about to start talking about financials. Struggling. AXP, Bank of America, we're seeing some struggles. And it popped and then gave it all back, and then it tried to pop, and now it's like, we're not seeing much yet. Okay. Bud looks pretty good, actually. It gapped up with its earnings. Now we have a pullback. If we bounce out of this pullback, we'll see how low this thing comes and turns, but if we bounce out of that, I think that I think we'll have something. So close. And we will posture here. Let's just get through the watch list and then we'll go posture. Okay, we've got Caterpillar. Caterpillar's looking good. And if there's any growth sector right now that I'm interested in, it is industrials. Right? It is definitely industrials. Okay. CF Industries, also industrials. That one looks okay. Okay, let's keep going. Coherent. Coherent had a nice turn. That was one we looked at, but didn't end up ultimately pulling the trigger here. It really wasn't quite done until yesterday. And then today you got some follow through, which is good, but that was a tough one. We looked at this from a reward to risk standpoint. And the problem is that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And you're thinking to yourself, do I really think this thing can get up there, let alone up there? You can see we've had one move that was maybe not quite as big as that. So, yeah. Cisco has recovered a good amount, but not even back to the gap. However, if it did get back to the gap and then had a small pullback, I would consider that a sneaky reversal, where it never really like broke out for the buyers, but it still sort of just morphed into something else. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Delta, some might have taken the stop on Delta. It's recovered some. It's back into still a loss. So even if you're in it, if you took the loss, okay. If you stayed, it's still got work to do. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Anybody want to weigh in if they're in it, closed some of it? Let's see. Here's the Dow. The Dow looks like it's trying to hold above the 50, possibly look for a bounce. Here's Dow Chemical, different Dow. This is basic materials. This actually looks pretty good. New high, pulled back. It's not a trade yet, but it's on my list for next week. Where were we? Dow, Ford. Ford starting to it's holding up above its 50. It's not really making aggressive swings, as it were, but it looks okay. GE. Here's gold, kind of sideways. Here's General Motors. So General Motors, I held. I'd like to hear from everyone else. Stochastic still is pointing up. I think we could have just a little bit of a hiccup here. As of 2 days ago, we were right in line. And then yesterday it gave it back, but it did so on such minimal volume. Look at that volume. That doesn't scare me. Today it looks like it's trying to stabilize, so I'm looking to see if we can't pop out of this and then move this over and then still be looking for 89 target, but maybe into next week. Okay, Melody's in, I'm in, John's in, Steven's in, PJ's in. Okay. Yeah, I think we're okay there. Google got a bounce. I didn't love how far it had come down. If this pops enough, My thought is maybe it gets up into this area and then does something like that, and then we can kind of get back into the Google mindset. Maybe it just moves from here. Hard to say. Goldman Sachs, sideways. Home Depot, small pullback. HL, sideways. IBM, down. INTC, mostly down. Let's see. New and Delta. Still have some new? Okay. Any Micron? Anyone have some of the Micron? I know that's one. IWM's kind of flat. It looks okay. Small caps are holding above the 50. That's good. That's good. Okay, sold some MU today. All right. Lumentum just keeps on popping. Keep on keeping on, I guess. Lam Research holding up. MasterCard well down. Pretty low overall. Meta, well down. Maybe we have a break occurring, at which point on a pullback, I would love to see something like that. Okay. Let's see. Monster. That was a lot. Don't fall in love with a star. That's good advice, Melody. Good advice. Monster did okay. Morgan Stanley struggling, like most of financials are. Microsoft still struggling. Micron. So remember, Micron. Let's take a look at this one. Let's pause here for a second. Micron. And you can see right now at 425 where we are. Our target is not that high. Let me go back and find. Let me see. Targets. 486. Oh, we are even higher than that. We were thinking up here. 486 with a take profit target at 442. So you can see from where we are now, 425 to 442, there's, let's get these organized. Almost 250 in additional gain plus time, right? So let's say we think it could get there by Wednesday. Well, Wednesday is the 25th. So we would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 1327. 1327, it's a little better. It's not a huge amount better, but we are getting some time decay for it. So, yeah, there is that. Okay. On the edge with Micron to take profits today. Indicators are starting to turn down, but on the edge, let's take a look. Well, I mean, you can see that they definitely pinched but never crossed. And then all of a sudden today, they're kind of opening back up a little bit. So is it still at this old level? Yes. Could it get up here into this level next week? I think so. You might take a little, keep a little, take some profits, keep some trade on. So we have a few different things that we have the possibility for. So there you go. Prediction today was a high of 422 and we got up to 426 even. Yeah. Fair enough. Netflix is down. New made a little bit of a comeback, and you actually have a few days before earnings. So if someone was still in New, I would say there's there's a thought process that says let's see about 2 more days into next week. Went back in today, still in New, sold 1 contract. Okay, yeah. It's definitely showing some signs of wanting to pick back up a little bit. So I think that's valid. Anybody else still have any of this New holdings? Took the loss with New and licked the wounds. Gabe, you and me both. You and me both. Okay. In and out twice. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Any comments on GM? Yeah, so GM, it turned, and then it's kind of on a hiccup. I'm okay with this. This is really only kind of a 2-day hiccup. So I'm sticking with this one, actually. I'd love to hear what everyone else is doing on this one, but I'm still in GM. And, on Wednesday afternoon, it was back up in line with its momentum projection. And then yesterday it gave it back, but it gave it back on significantly reduced volume. And then today it's stabilizing. Stochastic still giving us a upside point. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay. Let's see, where were we? We were at NVIDIA. Yeah, so if you held on to NVIDIA, it went through a funky journey. But it never really got above this level. So there was not much that could be done with it. I think a few people were able to squeeze some gains out of it. Otherwise, you're here now at expiration day, and there's really nothing we can do now. Okay. Insurance expires today profitable. Okay, very nice. Palantir is down. The Qs, I mean, they're struggling. They're fighting. They're up today. There might actually even be above average volume today on the Qs. Looks like there will be. Rocket Lab. I know there was a couple of people in Rocket Lab, but this is sort of turned over now. Starting to go back the other way. Earnings are early next week. There's not much left with that one. Okay. Ross Stores. So Ross Stores, the liquidity wasn't great, but the move got made. I mean, it was a little slow. It stalled, then accelerated, and ended up making the move. Now you have earnings. There's still a liquidity situation there, so there's not much we can do with it. Not much we can do with it. Okay. RTX. Did okay. Made a little move. Overextended. Silver's popping again a little bit today. SanDisk sideways. Okay, let's see. SYY. Maybe something developing here. TJX. Tesla is still down. TSM. TSM, actually, if there was one bright spot today, this is probably it. But it was, again, a pretty big move, 3% move. with a target at 411. We've got about 40 points left. And we'd be looking at about 14. So there could be a 3-1 there. Tough to put that on a Friday. Vail moving with silver. Viking cruises sideways. VOD sideways. Walmart possibly setting up for a trade going into next week that I would look to take. We had a pretty good one not too far back on Walmart. Okay. Yeah. I think it's more about managing than anything right now. I think it's more about managing. Okay. Any thoughts on our spreadsheet, like a preview of Sunday? Yeah, let's go through it. Let's talk about it. I think that's impactful. Yeah, we picked up. It was a small group at the beginning here, but we got our numbers up. It's good to see a lot of you joining in. Better late than never. Better late than never. Okay. Let's take a look at what's cleaning up accounts. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Let's see. There you go, Gabe. Gabe's right. We don't want to lose this one. Okay, so let's talk about this. For posture. Long-term trend, 1.25 for me, 1.25 for the Oracle. What's that based off of? That's based off of these red lines. You can see it's bouncing off of the bottom of it so far, holding. This looks good, no change. You can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're bouncing. We're bouncing off of a same low, though. It's not really a higher low or a lower low. For me, it's the same low. I'm going to keep my score exactly where it is. At this point, I would probably say it would have to break below 680, and then I would drop my score. That would probably cause me to drop both my short-term and my long-term if it happened at the end of the week. And then I would put it here. Somewhere around 695. If it breaks above 695, I could go up a quarter point, below 680, down a quarter point. Otherwise, I'll probably leave it where it is for the time being. STX. I mean, it's holding up. Oh, sorry. I think we already went through that. Sorry. I felt like I was back in the watch list. SPY volume. Sorry. Volume. Volume. Where did that come from? Where did what? STX? That was my bad. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Okay, let's go here. What do we have? I think we're going to have above average volume. We've got 20 minutes. Right now. Average is 83, and we're at 81.5. I definitely think we're going to get at least that 1.5 million plus 4 more in the last 20. I think so. I'm going to move one of these and put it here. And I think it's going to be, it's close, but it's right now it's leaning towards the buyers. If we were to score it right now, assuming this volume, so if I go back 5 days, 15 minutes, the amount of volume there was 4.7 million, 8 million, 5.9. Even at 4.7 million, that's going to put us qualifying. The question is, does it hold up above 0.5? We're at 0.62. Yeah, okay. I think it's going to. I'm gonna mark it as if it did. So that is good news for us. If we get a buying day, that's good news for us because as you can see over here, these cancel out. We're not going to count those. So we've got this patch here, which has 2 sells, 0 buys, and 3 ties. And then I would put all this in one. They're about the same amount of time. And this is going to be 1 sell, 1 buy, 1 tie, 1, 1, and 1. Which gives us a total of 3, 1, 4. 3 buying days, or 3 selling days, 1 buying day, 4 ties. Unfortunately, that to me is still a minus 0.25. Okay. Thoughts on volume? I think the problem is, for me, the problem is either way. If we have a buying day, my score stays the same. If we don't have a buying day, my score stays the same. I'm a minus 0.25. There's no way for this thing to jump up even to a 0. But I'd rather see a B and then build on that so that, you know, as this patch here slides over, whoop, this has an ability to get us back to a 0, to a 0.25, to start to contribute and say, hey, there's no longer conviction on behalf of the sellers. Gabe said we all want that, but it's been at best an iffy day today. That's facts. That's very true. But we went from 0.62 to 0.65, so it seems to be trying to hold up here as we get into the last 15 minutes. We're almost at average volume now, with even still with 15 minutes left. So I don't see any way that it doesn't at least meet the 5% threshold. I think that will happen. But if that doesn't happen, then we have then we'll have to make an adjustment. But I think it will. Okay, so far no change, which is fine. I mean, you know, it was a pretty okay week. Yeah, I mean, so far it hasn't much, right? The whole tariff situation. So I guess we'll see. But if you think sector rotation, I think If you look at major market, if you look at sector rotation, I mean, right now my scores have oriented. I'm negative. I'm net negative. I'm a minus 0.5 and a 0.25. So I'm minus 0.25 on this. The model, the Oracle, is positive 0.25 on this. Where am I negative? On these two combined. I'm a net negative 0.25. Net negative, the combined two. Whereas if you look at ChatGPT on these, it's positive 0.25. So there's a little bit of a disparity there. I don't know. I think that's probably going to stay the same. The major market held up. There was not enough. There's not enough defensiveness to kick it any lower. So I don't see any changes so far. I don't see any improvements either, unfortunately, but also no more deterioration. So if we can stabilize. Let's finish with the VIX. Okay, on the VIX. One, two, three, four, five. I'm giving it a same high. So not enough. I mean, it wasn't enough to score it for a lower high. It's still coming down. It's. I mean, unfortunately, right now, it's actually still set up for a potential higher low, which would be more escalation, and that would score me to a zero, maybe even to a negative. So if this week this thing can't get back at least to here, we're in some trouble. If it pops and gives us another higher low, I don't see any way it's contained. I think that's going to spike and really start to show an increase in overall market concern, market fear. But I agree with Steven. I don't see a change on the score. A same high is better than a higher high, but it's not scored. And we don't have a higher low. It could be a higher low. But as of right now, at least, it's still kind of pushing downward. Essentially, we just need to see more of that. So I am projecting a unchanged market posture, which, when you think about, we've been on this down a quarter, down 3/4, down 1 1/4, down 1, down 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks with an average of a 1 point drop. No, that can't be true. 1, 2. This is a 1/4 point, and then a 3. So 3/4 of a point, 3/4 of a point average drop. But this week it's stabilized. So great. We'd love to see that this is stabilized. That maybe it's just a deep consolidation. Yeah. Maybe a deep consolidation. Maybe there's more. But if we can stabilize and then start to gain some ground, I still think there's a chance we could see some bullishness in the spring. March and April, good months. Maybe it goes a little longer than cyclically it normally does. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Thoughts on posture? You agree? We're going to stay the same. So it's not getting worse. Not getting worse means if we have a pretty decent bullish list, we should be looking for some things that are going to pop off. And if it stabilizes and doesn't get worse, then hopefully we then start to see it move into a better prognostication. Okay. Trading plans. Hopefully you're moving through on the trading plan cycle with us. Trading plans, we are on section 3. We are on section 3. Trying to get that done. What's section 3? Trading rules. And we think about it in terms of systems, right? Trading systems. So when you think about a trading system, you're thinking, what's the overall objective? Well, you might have an objective like a bounce system, bouncing off support to the upside, or bouncing off resistance to the downside. You might have a breakout where you're thinking, oh, I want a system where when it breaks out, I might look to put a trade on. You might have a continuation system where you say, you know what, I missed the initial bounce exit, but it just accelerated in a way that I think I can, use Heiken Ashi for stops and maybe still catch a little ride with a high degree of probability behind the momentum. People devise very specific technical systems, moving average crossovers, utilizing things like volatility indicators like a Keltner channel or a Bollinger Band, things along those lines where they use technical signals to help fire off their trade opportunities. So there you go. Trading rules. It's going to be things like, how do you find these stocks? What's the criteria to make it to your watch list? What does a setup look like? What does a trigger look like? When you get a trigger, where's your stop? Where's your target? How do you determine time frame? How are you going to manage this trade? How are you going to position size this trade? So it's just the logistics. What are the logistics of the trades that you're looking to take to build? How do they work? Melody says, want to do more spreads. Now, spreads is more of a trade type than a trading system. So a spread trade, like where I say, hey, I want to do a bull put spread. Well, that could work in a bounce trade. That could work in a breakout trade. Continuation trade, less so, simply because it's already moving. They tend to not last as long. And time typically helps. But yeah, I love that. And that's just exploring trade types and how to get more comfortable with ways to take a trade. So, okay. We have a couple minutes. We've gone through everything. Any questions, comments, concerns, any trades we didn't discuss that you want to? Any symbols that you were hoping that we would take a peek at? Let me know. Well, you guys have been pretty easy. DAL. Yeah, DAL is a tough one, right? Some people closed, some people held. You can see it's back at or above this support level right now. And so it could go either way. In this morning out already. Beautiful. That's a nice little day trade there. In and out, caught some momentum. There you go. But it did hold its support, so we'll see what happens. And then we'll go from there, as always. So it's great to see you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day and a great weekend. I will see you guys on Sunday. And as always, happy trading.